Yo. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today, as we continue to break down the NFL playoffs in a divisional matchup here, the San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers. A lot of people looking forward to this matchup. And before we get into all the information, just a quick reminder, get in on our playoff giveaway right now. I have a full-size autographed helmet of Justin Herbert, arguably one of the most valuable things we've given away all year long. Make sure you head over to pristineauction.com, set up your free account using the promo code Headliners, and that's how you become eligible to win this helmet. There's also ways to gain multiple entries into this contest. I'll throw up a graphic here real quick. You can set up a new account on Prize Picks. Use the promo code Headliners, make your initial $20 deposit. Once you do that, we'll match your deposit up to $100, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. You can also pre-order a 2022 draft guide or become a member here on YouTube by clicking the join button down below. Lots of different ways to gain entries into this giveaway. Looking forward to giving this helmet away and the autographed jersey as well. Two great items here leading up to the Super Bowl. But now it's time to break down this matchup. A lot of people, myself included, really looking forward to this game this weekend because honestly, it can go so many different ways. So let's go ahead and throw up some information here. And here we have it, a game being played Saturday, January 22nd, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time in Green Bay. Nighttime in Green Bay in January equals freezing cold temperatures. As of right now, forecasted to be 16 degrees at kickoff with a 35% chance of some form of frozen precipitation. Now, one thing is for sure. Balls can freeze at that temperature, right? I mean, this is not ideal. Now, obviously, Green Bay, the home field advantage, they're used to these conditions. Is San Francisco kind of going to be caught off guard here? Now, one thing I can say, and I'll say this before we get into any other information, I don't put too much stock into just temperature. I'm more looking at wind and rain and other things like that to really affect a ball game. There is so much adrenaline going through these guys. They don't feel the cold at the time of the game, maybe in pregame warmups, maybe once the game is over. But in the middle of this game, they're not thinking about the cold temperatures. They're too jacked up at that time to really absolutely think about it or worry about it. So let's go ahead and head into some season ranks here, see where they ranked against each other. And here's the first thing I can tell you. There are only two teams remaining in the NFL playoffs that rank inside the top 12 in all four of these categories. It's the San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. Still a very underrated team, a team that is gaining some momentum at the right time of the season. Can they keep it going here in Green Bay? They have the 7th overall rushing offense. Kind of crazy to think about maybe, right? Because you think of Elijah Mitchell, but outside of that, they didn't really have anybody else. And then you kind of forget about Deebo Samuel, who's basically a hybrid wide receiver running back at this time anyway, and that's helped to boost this offense. Their passing offense, with the help of a Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk coming on here later, the 12th overall passing offense. Now, when it comes to defense, top 10 in both areas. 7th in rushing defense, 6th in passing defense. But they're going to be a little bit banged up, and we'll talk about injuries here in a second. As for the Green Bay Packers, another season with them finishing as the number 1 overall seed. They finished 13-4. Rushing offense, kind of crazy, right? 18th overall. I mean, you figure when you have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, that number should be higher. The problem is, Aaron Rodgers is just so good down the field with the passing game that they don't really have to run the ball very much either from time to time. So the 18th overall rushing offense, their passing offense inside the top 10, 8th overall, not a surprise. Rushing defense and passing defense, 11th for rushing, 10th for passing. But here's the thing. They're about to get better, right? And we talked about injury concerns, so I'll go ahead and throw them up here real quick. And the Packers are getting healthy at the absolute best time of the season. Look at a few of the names on the defensive side of the football that they could get back for this weekend's ball game. Jair Alexander, arguably one of the best defensive backs in football, could return this weekend. Whitney Merciless, a great pass rusher, coming back off the IR. Do we see him here this weekend? Zadarius Smith, another key factor when they're getting after opposing quarterbacks, could be back this week as well. We just saw them get David Bakhtiari back in the offensive line last week. They are getting healthy at the right time, which could cause some serious problems to a defense that's already been pretty solid in Green Bay. It's not like they were horrible and now they're getting back their best players. They've already been good, and now they're adding more firepower. that could be a little bit dangerous for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, when we look on their side, Nick Bosa dealing with a concussion, I do expect him to clear the protocol in time to play. Just something to pay attention to. Elijah Mitchell, basically been on an injury report for the last 8, 9, 10 weeks, it feels like, with the same injury. Do we see him this week? I have to think that we do in a win-or-go-home situation. The one that I'm really worried about, it's Jimmy G. He's got the thumb issue, and he just picked up a shoulder injury as well this past weekend, and now he is questionable to play this week. In my heart of hearts, I believe that Jimmy G goes out there and tries to tough it out. Can he make it the entire game against this defense? In my opinion, that's the biggest question we should be asking, because the last thing we really want is for rookie quarterback Trey Lance, who I love. I love the skill set of Trey Lance, but we don't want him to be thrown to the wolves in the middle of a must-win game in the playoffs in Lambeau Field in freezing cold temperatures. It's just not ideal for a rookie quarterback. So let's go ahead and head into some of the storylines here that a lot of people are talking about. First one being Trey Lance, like we just mentioned, right? Do we see Trey Lance start this ball game? Do they rule out Jimmy G? Does Jimmy G try to tough it out and can't make it all 4 quarters? We get Trey Lance halfway through. A lot of things surrounding this potential scenario for the quarterback position of the San Francisco 49ers. Not ideal timing. We're talking about the Packers getting healthy, and at the same time, the San Francisco 49ers are starting to get a little bit banged up. Heck, I didn't even list him, but Fred Warner, another name that's banged up as well. He's already come out and said he's going to play. That's why I didn't really include him, but it's just kind of a tale of two stories right here, right? A team getting healthy, a team starting to get a little bit banged up, not ideal. How does the cold weather slow this offense of the San Francisco 49ers? Now, when I say the offense of the San Francisco 49ers, honestly, it's like Deebo Samuel, right? Because that guy is the X factor that nobody has been able to figure out and stop on the defensive side of the football in quite some time. The way they utilize him in this offense is just so unique that they're constantly catching defenses off guard. Am I worried about the cold weather in Deebo Samuel? No, I'm really not. I don't think this is the type of offense that's going to be overly affected by some cold temperatures. I do expect this game, though, to be a little bit more defense dominated than a lot of people want to admit. You see the offenses, you see the big playmakers on both sides, and you want big scores. You want that 30, 40 to 40 point game. I mean, that's what you're looking for. But honestly, in this game, in this weather, don't be surprised if the score is just a little bit lower, because the defense kind of takes over on both sides here. Now, who gets the early lead? And I say this in almost every matchup. This is probably the most important thing in playoff football. You want to get the lead early so that you dictate the way the game continues. Can you rely on your running game? Can you continue to push the ball down the field? Do you just need to continue to move the chains, get first downs, and run the clock? That's why you want that early lead. And once again, this is just another one of those examples that I think is going to come into play here in this ball game. But we told you earlier, one of the ways to gain an entry into our giveaway is to sign up for Prize Picks, right? Use that promo code Headliners, and we include Prize Picks in every one of these videos to try to help win some extra money for all of you who do sign up. So the 2 players that I'm looking at in this matchup as of right now are 2 of the lesser known guys on the offensive side of the football. You got Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers and Allen Lazard of the Green Bay Packers. Ayuk, his current receiving prop, set at 51.5 yards with a lot of defensive attention, going the way of Deebo Samuel, going the way of George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk, as of late, has kind of been the forgotten man in this offense that could really rack up a couple receptions and hit that 51.5 yards to get the over. Same can be said for Allen Lazard. A lot of attention going the way of Devontae Adams. You have to pay attention to the running game of Green Bay with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Allen Lazard seems to be that guy on a weekly basis that goes out there and just gets lost by opposing defenses at times. His current receiving prop, 40 yards. That's something he can get on one reception in this offense, so I'm going to smash the over there as well. But now is the time that we head into the Manscaped prediction of the game. Otherwise, this is the time that Jake pisses off a fan base because they can't get over the fact that somebody doesn't pick their team to win. Now, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know how much I've supported the San Francisco 49ers for years. Not a huge 49er fan, got the Kittle ball, but I'm definitely a fan of this franchise and the way that they utilize the playmakers they have. I want to see the San Francisco 49ers win this ball game. I just think all things given, Aaron Rodgers, veteran quarterback, used to the playing conditions, has playmakers, has a stud defense, has solid options all over the field, is just too much for the San Francisco 49ers to overcome. Plus, we have some injuries that I'm concerned about on the San Francisco side of things, especially with Jimmy G. And how can the pressure of the Green Bay Packers force Jimmy G into throwing a few turnovers that could really, swing the pendulum the way of the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going Packers 26-17 here in this ball game. I think we see a lot of field goals. I don't think this is one of those games where it's going to be tons of touchdowns going back and forth, not just for weather, but I'm giving credit to both sides, both defenses here, because I do think they both could have elite defenses here this coming up week. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Regardless, even if I'm completely wrong and this turns into an offensive shootout, it's a win-win for all of us. But this is where we stay interactive. Let me know down below in the comment section, who do you want to win this game and who do you think wins this ball game here this weekend? Going to be fun. We're doing these videos for all the playoff games, so make sure you stay tuned, hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever we upload. But hopefully you guys are having a great day this week, a great week, and we'll talk to you later.